Well, here's you another story. Uh, if you're going to learn to be a missionary and live on the mission field, you're going to have to learn to adapt. I always told people you want to learn to be flexible. In fact, is the word I mostly use is fluid. You just got to learn to go with the flow, and that's not meant in any wrong way. But we do things differently in America than they do in other parts of the world, which means that you will eat foods that you may not be accustomed to. I remember my buddy Alberto I was in the store, the tienda, working with him. I was sewing up soccer balls and taking time with him I'm learning Spanish, but you don't just sit in a classroom. That's not the way to learn. You learn Spanish, but just hanging out, and hanging out means that life just goes on. And so he comes walking in after I get there, and I've already had lunch with Betty, and he comes walking in, and he's carrying some tortillas, and with the tortillas, he has some kind of soup type stuff. And he asked me, "Do you want to eat with us?" And I was like, "Well," and he said, "Oh, come on, you got to eat with us." I said, "Okay." And so he offered to serve me menudo. And I said, "Okay, what is menudo?" And he said, "Well, it's intestinos." And I said, "Intestinos?" And I pointed at my stomach, and he said, "Yes." And he was having the time of his life. And so I was scared to death. I've not eaten a whole lot of guts in my life. And he took a tortilla and he put the stuff on it and wrapped it up, and it was good. It was just crunchy. Kind of reminds me of the time we were in Arequipa, Peru, and this a new missionary wife was there, and she was loving the soup we were having at camp. We were at camp, probably 100, 150 people are there, and it's mass lunch. And she came and she said to Betty and me, she said, "Boy, I really like this soup. This is really good soup." I said, "It sure is." She said, "What's it called?" So I gave her the name. And then she said, "What's in it?" I said, just eat the soup and don't ask questions. You'll like it better." And she said, "No, what's in it?" And I said, "Well, it's got intestines in it, chopped up intestines." And she said, "Do what?" She almost threw up. She couldn't believe we were eating intestines. Uh, and it may not be your favorite food, but if you reject the food, you reject the culture. If you reject the culture, you reject the people. So you got to learn. By the way, my mother was just as bad as any lady in any part of the world. If you came to our house and my mother was fixing food and you acted like you were better than us because we were poor people and you didn't want to eat the food, she would have gotten hurt feelings and offended. And so you need to understand that's what they do. I remember the first time I was eating a bowl of soup, and I hadn't been in Peru very long. And when I pulled up my spoon, a chicken foot came in my spoon. I looked down. It was the claw. It was a chicken foot. And I thought to myself, and I dumped it back in. I said, "Poor people. They don't realize they've dropped a chicken foot in the soup. This is terrible." I was so embarrassed for them. But out of the corner of my eye, I'm the only white boy in the whole town. I'm with a whole bunch of Peruvians. And I look out of the corner of my eye, and my Peruvian friend, he picks up that foot, and he breaks it with the spoon. He puts a toe, and he goes, and he sucked the meat off that toe. And I thought, "Oh, Lord, I'm going to have to do the same thing. If I'm going to fit in here, I'm going to have to eat that chicken foot." I nearly gagged. I'll be honest with you. I said what I always said: "Lord, I'll put it down if you'll keep it down." You'll be surprised when I tell you this, but it tastes like chicken. And it really did taste like chicken because it was a chicken's foot. And I ate the chicken, and I enjoyed the chicken, and it was good. I would never choose that. In our house, Betty never fixed that. We ate regular food for a southeastern person. For Tennessee, Georgia people, we ate mashed potatoes, and we had gravy and biscuits, and we had it all because you don't have to eat those things if you don't want to. I remember the first in your home. Now I think you should with the people. Don't put it in your pocket. Don't try to fake that. That comes across so poorly because they'll see you doing what you don't think they'll see you doing. I would challenge you, don't do that. Don't fake it till you make it. Just go ahead and eat the food. Most everything we eat is an acquired taste, and you'd be shocked. It won't be long till you'll be liking the food they offer you. Remember, if you reject the food, you reject the culture. If you reject the culture, you reject the people. So please don't do that. Thank you so much for listening and watching. And I want to challenge you, if you would, to take the time to subscribe and put a like. If you enjoyed this at all, like it, share it with somebody. It would really help me, and I sure appreciate what you're doing.